know it says in the discussion, but we're about to start one. Outnumbered overtime. OT, baby.
OT, baby. This is how we OT. End of discussion.
Yeah. Anyway,
in paperback.
It should be a Broadway play. And Kennedy and I are both auditioning.
Mary Catherine some slack.
Oh, yeah. MK. How's the book going?
It's going well, launched yesterday. So actually what's interesting about this...
So in 24 hours, how's it going?
It's amazing. Many people are saying...
Tell me about your book tour.
So the book actually came out...
Hey guys, we're just on air. Don't mind us.
You have to work too.
Who says they got to work too? They don't care that we have mics on.
The book
Anyway,
came
go
out
ahead.
2 years ago, the original, and we were sort of warning about how the left was ramping up their attacks on free speech and sort of trying to silence people who disagree with them. It was a book sort of before its time because we were getting requests just in the last few weeks saying, hey, come talk about your new book. We're like, actually, it's 2 years old. What happened was Donald Trump announced he was running for president literally a week after this book was published. And so we watched on our book tour as he came down the escalator, and a lot of things have changed, and some of the problems have accelerated since his election in terms of what the left is doing in their tactics. So we've added a new chapter reflecting the Trump election, the Trump presidency.
This is in the discussion part.
Yes, it's a brand new edition with a first introductory chapter.
It's got that new cover feel. You know what I'm saying?
And the cover art is pretty sweet.
I added a chapter. I feel how that is. So, do you think the left is different somehow? What's in the extra chapter? Can you give us a preview?
Well, I think what we argued in the original edition was if you keep demonizing and bullying people culturally and trying to convince them to shut up as opposed to convincing them of something, there's going to be a backlash. And what we didn't anticipate was the immediacy and magnitude of that backlash, which I think in many respects was the election of President Trump. A big reason why he was so appealing to so many millions of Republicans who might have been willing to concede maybe his temperament isn't great, maybe I have some objections to his character, maybe he's not a true conservative, but he's fighting these people. That was a major explanatory factor behind his rise. And I think that if you deny that, you're in denial.
So when Hillary Clinton puts up, what happened?
What happened?
Her new book, what happened? You just go like this.
Yeah,
in the discussion.
They should read that book instead of her book, because her book could be written in one sentence, which is basically an unpopular, unlikable, untrustworthy candidate lost a layup election by not...
That's such a run-on sentence, Guy.
But I can still just once lost a sentence and didn't discover Wisconsin until it was too late. Like, that's what happened, right?
No, there are, yes, it is certainly a tremendous part of it. There were a lot of other factors that went into this election, and I would agree with you that the left has some problems with safe spaces. I think increasingly we're seeing a lot of Republicans who also seem to have trouble with free speech and being pushed back against and having an important discourse that pushes the country forward. But yeah, I think that you're spot on about what happened with Trump. And I would say that it's not just where he said, it doesn't matter how you say it and I'm not PC. It's the throw him out of Washington thing that Democrats don't get or didn't get in this election, that actually people on both sides of the aisle were saying we're sick and tired of how things have been going and we want a big change. And we didn't offer a big change.
Why do they want to throw them out of D.C.? It wasn't just throw them out of D.C., it was why? And so much of that hinged on identity politics, which, you know, establishment Democrats have been betting on year after year. And it's a tired old playbook that didn't add up to a win.
Can I read something from the live chat? Sometimes, I don't know about you, Sandra, but I just like to read ahead. This is interesting. Fed Up in Lakewood. In 2006, Paul Krugman, liberal columnist, who we know, wrote, quote, immigration reduces the wages of domestic workers who compete with the immigrants, and the fiscal burden of low-wage immigrants is also pretty clear. His conclusion, quote, we'll need to reduce the inflow of low-skilled immigrants, end quote. A liberal.
Yeah.
And there was quite the healthy discussion on this couch earlier on the TV version of us. But this came a little bit, at least in part, according to this viewer, from your party.
There are going to be some interesting bedfellows on this. I mean, you know who's also going to agree with that is unions. Labor unions are going to get behind, I think, the rationale put forward today by the president and those two senators. So I don't think this is going to be a clean right versus left, Democrat versus Republican debate when it comes to skilled immigration and cutting legal immigration in half. I suspect that there are going to be more Republicans in support of it and more Democrats against, but there will be pockets of each party certain ideological-based dissenting, for sure.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, in terms of the thought leaders like the Paul Krugmans of the world, there are people on record, certainly from the early 2000s or in the 1990s, who have had complete reversals in the way that they look at these things. That's a lot harder for an economist to do than for a politician.
That doesn't really burden Paul Krugman.
Yeah, nor do facts and data.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, Paul Krugman's the one who called the VA the gold standard for single payer.
Yeah.
And by the way, you know what is incredibly laughable, and I have a problem with both sides here. So Democrats, when they talk about health care, they say, well, we have to have single payer health care because Sweden and every industrialized country in the world offers health care to all of its citizens.
Actually, that's not true in France, and I just spent a lot of time in an ER.
Of course, it's not true everywhere. And Sweden has just made a bunch of free market reforms,
Right.
and it's not this
They've
socialist
reversed it.
utopia that progressives claim. But by the same token, Republicans can't go, well, we have to have a much tighter immigration system because of Canada and Australia. No, these are the United States of America. It is a very unique place, and we are allowed to craft our own laws on healthcare and immigration that are not based on what other cool guys do.
Well, and I would say, I mean, I was in a hospital outside of Paris because I broke my ankle. Yeah, about a month ago.
Was Madeline there getting her appendix stitched up?
I didn't see that. I mean, it was, you know, I had a good experience there, but it was not single payer, which I
Were you in a
thought
private
that
hospital?
It was. You know, it's interesting. So technically, no, public, but it was the American Hospital of Paris, and I'm an American. So
I bet that was a private
I
hospital.
was in a public hospital in Japan, actually, just last week, and
my point
it was
is that
a
it
great
wasn't
experience.
single payer.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there
And I
has
see
to be a poly blend. I mean, that's the way it works. Like, I lived in the UK for 6 years.
Polyblend.
Yeah.
No, I like cotton. No polyblend.
Fine, no poly blend. But it has to be a mix. I mean, wealthy people are always going to use private health insurance, and they're going to go to whatever top doctor that they want to. We just need to make sure that there is an option for those who can't afford at that level and can't go to those
in Greece
doctors.
they have that, yeah.
But
In
I
Greece
use
they
my
have a
healthcare.
public option and a private option. And a good friend of mine just had to spend 4 days in the hospital in Greece, and she went to the private hospital, and she said it was fantastic and wonderful. And said the public hospital was so disgusting they didn't even have toilet paper. Not because they ran out, they just don't have toilet paper.
Oh my gosh.
all right,
In order to get to the single payer dream, by the way, you need to massively increase taxes on everybody, working class, middle class Americans.
What was the tax increase under Bernie Sanders' plan for single payer health care? The Medicare for all, what was that?
Yeah, was it a $32 trillion,
Exactly right.
I believe?
I think over
Yeah.
Well,
10
but
years.
that's
What
not,
are you
I mean,
seeing
it's
on
not
these
realistic.
Oh no, you
Yeah.
you double the.
Can you see it streaming?
Yeah.
We're having two separate conversations.
No,
guys.
no,
We're
no.
talking about
It's
single
frozen on
payer.
Guy's
Oh
face.
no.
Oh.
Well, that's not
It's
a bad
frozen on
face.
Guy's face. That's fantastic.
Sorry, there's no comments
our-
coming in because
that's
all the
success.
comments are OT's not working.
Yeah. No.
wow.
I refreshed mine. I'll do it again.
Twitter.
But I'm going to go to Facebook Live, too, with the last couple of minutes that we have and get some shout-outs from there as well. So I was reading from the live chat. Oh, and there it goes again. It's coming in and out. And I'm seeing the comments that you're saying people are like, what? Are there too many people on here? Never. Never too many. But I did see kind of a trend going by that immigration, that it won't really change much the type of workers that are in the country. I don't know. That was one woman's comment.
Well,
What do you think
if they
about that?
have their way, if the bill works the way that they want it to, it will structurally change that dramatically. I mean, that's what
That's the
Purdue and
goal.
Tom Cotton
That's the
want.
goal,
That's the
especially
goal.
if
Yeah,
you cut legal
absolutely.
immigration by 50%.
Yeah.
And you've almost got, I don't know, it's the acronym is RAISE, but it's almost like a means testing, what they're going to be doing.
Right, but
Right?
going back to the original point that Guy made there, until we get the details of exactly what that means, what a high-skilled worker is, and how exactly our point system will work, because it's not going to work the same as it does in Canada. It's not going to work the same the way that it does in Australia. I don't know if we can actually have a really honest intellectual debate about it. I mean, the baseline idea is we should be attracting the best and the brightest. We want that. We certainly need to stop
definitely, right?
training people, they're getting their PhDs here, and then they're going home because we're kicking them out. I mean, that's a problem that we're not even talking about with this bill. But yeah, I wait with bated breath to hear what.
That wouldn't be a problem with this bill.
No,
This
but that's
bill
what
would
I'm saying,
purport
but-
to fix that problem.
No,
You
but
still
if-
have
if
fewer
our
people who can get into the
competitiveness-
country, even if they are competitive in STEM jobs, they still can't get in because there are fewer visas and there are fewer available avenues, which is a really bad idea.
All right, with 30 seconds left, let's go back to your book.
Oh, please.
Anything funny in it?
Oh, I would argue Kennedy's read it, so maybe
Love
she
it.
can. So Mary Catherine Ham is my co-author. She's departed Fox News for another
Fake news.
network that we're not going to talk about right
Are
but
you being Donald Trump right now?
a little bit. And we had a lot of fun in the book. Some footnotes, some snarky footnotes.
All right, we got to pick it up. Leslie Harris, thank you for prodding us to have a little laughter on the show today. Good to see you.
Yeah, this was intense today. It was fun.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of intense stuff going on, dude. Glad you were here. See you tomorrow.